Hello and welcome to Tata Projects India at 100 Growing Responsibly and Safely Season 3, a series that explores how India is building more sustainable and resilient future. As we look ahead to 2047, sustainability is no longer a choice, it's a necessity. And in this episode, we will be discussing the pivotal role of water conservation in construction industry for a sustainable future. And here companies like IHCL are taking leadership roles in reshaping the construction practices and setting new benchmarks in sustainable hospitality. What does that really mean in practice? And how IHCL is reducing water consumption in their sites? So let's find out. And to deep dive into this critical conversation, I have Ms. Sireesha Chandana, who's Vice President of IHCL. Welcome, Sireesha, to my show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to actually be here. I'm very excited to share the IHCL story of sustainability.
Great. So let's start with the bigger picture. Sireesha, the hospitality sector, if I say, is uniquely positioned. It has to give a unique, exceptional guest experience also. And it has to be very mindful of the environmental impact also. So how is IHCL managing its priorities and what is the role of water conservation in it?
Fantastic. So the way I look at it, I'll take it in two pieces. Yeah? So the way to look at it is that, yes, what is the business about? Business is about providing the best quality experience to the guests who actually come to our hotel, whether it is for a comfortable stay or for the great food and beverage experience they can actually have in our hotel. That means that our portfolio is now going to also be hugely impacted from a sustainability perspective by the new hotels which are joining the portfolio. And hence, how we deal with the new builds and the transition hotels, how we make sure that sustainability and water related technologies and practices, best practices are a part of design actually becomes very important for us.
Yeah? At the initial stage itself.
Right at the initial stage. So when you're doing greenfields, brownfields, then obviously it's right from the design stage. When you're doing transitions, then instead of just looking at the transition cost from a branding perspective, when you look at it also from an efficiency perspective in the back end, then you make sure that the right kind of technologies are kind of put in place. Today, everything has to be revisited and we had to kind of redo all of that so that we are using the right kind of technologies and the right kind of equipment to be able to be most efficient in the space of utilization of water. So it's a fantastic space to be, lots happening, and I also feel that it's a ever evolving space, so it's continuously changing and the scope is immense to do so much in this space.
That's really insightful. You mentioned rainwater harvesting. Now, can you tell me more about how it integrates in the hotel designs itself? And is there any standout projects which you want to mention here?
Yeah, so rainwater harvesting is surely a piece, but in today's day and age, actually, when it comes to new builds, rainwater harvesting has become mandatory. It might be in a small, small tanks that are mandatory, but it is from a regulatory perspective, it's mandatory, but there is a lot of work that is happening in that space. So I'll highlight a few cases where some great work has happened in the space of water. Yeah, so what are some of the big ticket items? Yes, last year we did a high level strategy to understand what's really happening around water as a resource across all our hotels. And when we studied, we said that we can't do everything in all hotels. So we looked at the top 21 guzzlers of water, yeah, and we said these are the top 21 hotels which are actually have maximum utilization of water.
And I know on which resort you're going to come to. It's known for it.
It's definitely, yeah.
Yes.
So one of them also happens to be Andamans, yeah.
Yes.
And again, couldn't be a better location, natural habitat, is governed by many regulations. So this is one place where 100% of the water actually gets reused within the system. Yeah. So we are very proud of that particular piece. Also in Taj Lands End, yeah, is one of our hotels. It's a large hotel, 490 rooms. So the amount of water used in that hotel is quite large, but they have got a fantastic system in place where right from the rooftop, all the water actually gets collected at the ground level and that water is utilized back into our operations. Yeah, so there are limitations to where we use the water. It actually goes into a water treatment plant before it actually comes back into circulation. Having said that, rainwater harvesting is one piece, and we are working towards doing some big ticket projects around rainwater harvesting. We've just
The new ones?
The new ones, okay. Yeah. So we've just initiated some hydrogeological surveys in both in Bangalore and in Goa.
What is this survey all about?
These surveys are to get an understanding of, can we actually do rainwater harvesting in that particular area. Okay. So does the terrain actually support rainwater harvesting? Because if the water is just going to flow through that particular soil there, it doesn't make any sense to actually do rainwater harvesting. So you have to do a lot of surveys to understand whether it has holding power in that particular space or not. Yeah. So we've initiated those surveys in both in our hotel in Bangalore as well as our hotels in Goa, because these are large resorts which have huge gardening potential. So for us to be able to not be drawing groundwater to garden, it is important that we actually use rainwater harvesting to be able to garden throughout the year these particular hotels. So those projects are on, and hopefully they'll come to life in the coming year. This setting aside, I think much work in the organization has happened in improving the technology around STPs and ETPs. So all the water that actually goes into the sewage treatment plant, to enhance the capacities and improve the quality of treatment in the STP, so that it is not limited to just cleaning probably some back of the house areas, but it can go into circulation into the cooling towers, it can go into circulation into the flushes, yeah. So that then that ways we are using lesser water from the outside, the withdrawal is so much lesser. That is great work that has happened. So I think 3 big ticket things to highlight would be the rainwater harvesting projects, the enhancement of the STP technologies, as well as the ETP. So these are 3 big ticket items that we should focus on.
So now let's come to one thing. When you talk about solutions, okay? So implementing these solutions into your luxury resort is one thing. But ensuring that these sustainable practices are scalable across your multiple properties, especially the city hotels. Yeah. What would you like to say on it?
So I feel it's a combination of multiple factors. One is that, I wouldn't say it is easy to do it in a resort. Probably there is more opportunity and scope to do it in a resort. Sure. Yeah. Having said that, I think sustainability is all about discipline and about how we want to drive it from a leadership perspective. What is it that we are committed to, and how do we want to meet our commitments? And I think that's why, like I mentioned the last time, in our city hotels, it is the sewage treatment plants and the effluent treatment plants. These are 2 big ticket technologies that we continuously focus towards upgrading, so that we are able to shift the amount of recycled water from a 65% to a 85%, so that all that water can actually go back into circulation, whether it is the cooling towers, whether it is the flushing, whether it is cleaning, whether it is horticulture areas and stuff like that. So these are 2 big technologies which are in place. What else are we doing? Our hotels, which are aging hotels, there is a schedule by which they go through renovations and refurbishments, the city hotels. So what it requires is, like I mentioned, this is an ongoing journey. And every few weeks, months, quarters and years, there will be continuous technology upgrades. It's important that we keep our eyes and ears open and have the appetite to kind of take certain amount of risk to pilot new technologies and say, hey, you know what, this is working better than what was working earlier, and stay disciplined and committed about rolling out these new technologies across all the hotels. And I think a great way to put this discipline is the process of having certification across hotels. All our hotels are certified, sustainability certified. Or I think the right thing would be to say that, majority of our hotels go through sustainability certification. And when hotels go through sustainability certification, these are minimum asks out of a certification. What kind of technologies do you have? And I think that when that kind of a framework is what is being referred to in your operations, then you are conscious about what kind of capital expenditure do you need to plan for, what kind of OPEX do you want to put aside. So having sustainability certifications like LEED, like Earth Check, like Hotel Sustainability Basics, and many others that we have in play, these actually help us make sure that we are up to date in the technologies we have to be able to leverage and maximize water as a
Are
resource.
these certification compulsory for all the resorts and hotels?
So nothing is compulsory actually,
Okay.
yeah. But it's a choice you make as an organization to say, hey, you know what, we want to play a responsible role, yeah. And as a large organization which is a front runner in the business in Southeast Asia, we should communicate about it so that we are able to inspire others also to be able to do something like this. Yeah. So I think it's a great space to be.
It's really so inspiring to see that how sustainability is so embedded in IHCL vision. Oh my God, that's great. So now as I wrap up for my industry viewers, I would like to know from your end, what are your advices or what is the key importance of water conservation into construction practices?
No, it's a very relevant question, especially in the context of Indian hotels, where we have so many greenfield and brownfield projects also in the pipeline. So that means that, you know, we need to completely revisit the entire process of construction. And we are very happy that we have partners like Tata Projects actually in this particular space who have a equally committed sustainability vision of how they want to kind of grow the business. So number one, when you're working with partners like this, that kind of eases the pressure on you, because you know that you're going to actually have partners who are going to tell you what is the right thing to do and what's the best way to operate. And I think one of the finest examples was just recently, we are actually in the process of opening our hotels in Kevadia. We have a Ginger and a Vivanta hotel which is coming up, and these are large inventories, big hotels, big sized hotels together with Tata Projects, and we have a committed goal to actually work towards very, very highly efficient water projects there, so that the water, we're looking at the possibility of making this water neutral as a project if possible, yeah. But we are very excited about the kind of work happening there, the kind of plans that we have in terms of the fixtures and fittings in the room, the kind of plumbing lines, the new thought process behind how we can have the STPs in place, what kind of rainwater harvesting facilities we can put in place. So I think these are some of the things that I feel that all industries and businesses need to now start thinking right from design stage to be able to put these things in place. Having said that, I think there is much to do also from a policy level, because the nation that we are, I think we adhere very well to anything which is policy and regulatory in nature. Today, water is priced very minimally. And that's why possibly the respect for water as a resource is also not as high as it would be for maybe petrol, yeah. So maybe there has to be a time when policymakers decide how we want to price water to be able to make people realize the importance of the resource of water. So these are two things that I feel we must really focus on, bringing sustainability right from design phase rather than as an afterthought, and bringing it from a policy perspective, so that there are takers, enthusiastic and not so enthusiastic takers, but everybody kind of joins the party on that front.
Thank you, Sireesha, for such valuable insights, and thank you very much for being on our show.
Thank you. I completely enjoyed it. And I feel that these are opportunities to actually learn so much more. And every time I read, I reflect, I feel like there is so much more to do. So thank you for helping me reflect also.
Thank you.
Thank you.